Heya Cryptozens. Tonight's show: India freezes Vauld's FlipVolt, Velodrome thief fingered, and Polkadot Stablecoin Depegs. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time. The date is August 14th, 2022, and welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nikodemus, and I will be your host. The cover model, mascot, and co-host for this podcast is Tex, and together we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. Keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. On Friday, the Enforcement Directorate in India, or ED, they announced that they'd frozen financial assets of a company called Velodrome Technologies. Well, some of these services were on the FlipVolt crypto exchange, FlipVolt being the Indian branch of Vauld. And the reason for this is allegedly facilitating, quote, crime-derived profits. You see, the Indian government isn't happy with Vauld's lending practices. They call them predatory. And Vauld has been taking a beating lately. They just filed for protection from their creditors last month. So FlipVolt is the Indian registered branch of the Singapore headquartered Vauld. And FlipVolt deposited 3.7 billion rupees from 23 different entities. Now, some of these entities included non-banking companies as well as fintech firms. So what the ED is alleging is that those companies deposited that money right into wallets controlled by Velodrome. Now, here's the problem with all that. ED is saying that Vauld has, quote, very lax KYC norms, no EDD mechanism, no check on the source of funds of the depositors, no mechanisms for raising STRs, etc. So ED is saying that FlipVolt, while they did collect KYC data, it probably wasn't all that useful. Often, these were accounts of people living out in the boondocks. And the reason why that's relevant is that these people allegedly never had anything to do with those accounts. Now, where this is coming from is this is similar to a case we recently reported on. It's coming from this investigation into money laundering by Chinese using instant loan companies. And that enabled those three accused firms to, quote, avoid regular banking channels and let them easily take out all the fraud money in the form of crypto assets. And so that's the reason why they're freezing Velodrome's bank balances, their payment gateway balances, their balances of what's on the exchange, and that totals out to $46.4 million. Because what the Indian government decided is that the company is a shell entity, that it was incorporated by two Chinese nationals hiding behind pseudonyms. We've seen this kind of thing before. Vauld's Indian branch failed to file the appropriate paperwork. They were supposed to provide the ED with a complete trail of crypto transactions. Now, apparently they didn't do that. They were supposed to provide the KYC details of those wallets. Apparently they didn't do that either. The ED said, quote, lax KYC norms, loose regulatory control of allowing transfers to foreign wallets without asking any reason, declaration, KYC, non-recording of transactions on blockchains to save costs, etc., has ensured that FlipVolt is not able to give any account for the missing crypto assets. They continued, accusing Velodrome of making no sincere efforts to trace those assets down. They're saying that Velodrome encourages obscurity and has lax anti-money laundering norms. Now, that's the method and the vector of how they're saying that the laundering of millions of dollars of using crypto is going. And so it looks like ED is freezing FlipVolt's assets until they get a complete funding trial. And right now, I don't think Vauld is in any position to really help them out. As we reported back on July 5th, they shut down their withdrawals and transfers. They owe creditors something like $363 million. So they allegedly filed for bankruptcy protection. And so it came to pass that, citing India's Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002, the ED froze funds in FlipVolt's accounts. This was equivalent to the sums that had transferred from YellowToon's wallets to foreign wallets. And those funds are to remain frozen, quote, till complete fund trail is provided by the crypto exchange. They call those funds nothing but proceeds of crime derived from predatory lending practices. I'm sure these developments are a disappointment to Coinbase Ventures, Pantera Capital, and Peter Thiel's Valor Ventures. They were all backers on this project. At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $1.17 trillion. It's down slightly, 0.73% on the day. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin down 0.61%, Ethereum down 1.84%, Tether, USDC, and Binance Coin down 2.31%. Velodrome is a decentralized exchange. On August 4th, they noticed they'd come under attack of sorts. They noticed what unusual activity was happening in one of the team wallets. Now, this wallet was used for things like operating expenses and team salaries. That's going to become important later. So this thief got away with $350,000. That's how much they were able to take before the team transferred what was left to the Treasury's multi-sig wallet. And this is kind of sad, because what they did next was they got together some team members who did not have access to that wallet. Those guys started their own independent investigation. That investigation turned to heartbreak as they were successful in quickly identifying the thief and recovering the funds. Now, to their immense disappointment, that thief was one of their own, team member Gabagool. So this all came from a tweet from the Velo team yesterday morning. They said that they've done the reasonable thing and cut ties with Gabagool. They said that they've gotten their legal counsel to figure out what the best next steps are. Now, thinking about what they said, that it was their operating expenses for Velodrome, not the exchange itself, but one of their accounts. So they're not expecting any issues with running their normal business. They said user funds are safe, which is good because they just hit the 100 million mark. They have over $108 million in assets total value locked. That puts it right up there with like Uniswap for DeFi exchanges. They closed their tweet with, quote, although this attack affected only the Velodrome team, we believe it is important to inform the greater community of our findings. And this part is kind of brutal. We recommend any individuals or teams who have existing relationships with Gabagool to take these findings under advisement. Now that's particularly harsh because Gabagool is known. They have, or at least had, a following because of their on-chain sleuthing. They were a force for good, exposing the frauds perpetrated by others. Now they have allegedly fallen from grace. I say allegedly, but this isn't theory, folks. They've admitted it. I said Gabagool had built up a following, and that following defended him valiantly. That was until Gabagool's post on Twitter admitting the whole thing. Apparently, they're an adjunct professor with $125,000 in student loan debt and a recent string of painfully bad trades. So they say they made a mistake. They say they felt bad about the hack and returned all the money. They did give a full-throated apology. However, by the time that they say that they returned or decided to return the money, Velodrome had already figured it all out. Now, they closed by saying, not much else to say. I'm extremely stupid, incredibly disappointed in myself, and frankly, unsure about what next, legally speaking. The global NFT market cap is down 11.31%. Sales volume is down 7.09% in 24 hours. According to CoinMarketCap, the top 5 NFT collections by sales volume are Other Deed, followed by Mutant Apes, Women Ape Yacht Club, Moonbirds, and CloneX. Now keep in mind, some of these collections have very volatile prices, so do your own research. Acala is a decentralized finance hub on Polkadot. they apparently got hit with a massive hack on their brand new liquidity pool. I swear, they just launched the thing, and then today it gets hit. This is particularly brutal because Acala issues AUSD. Now, AUSD is a decentralized stablecoin. It's collateralized with some other crypto assets, and it gets minted through something called collateralized debt positions. That sounds impressive, but really it's not. It just means that a person locks up some collateral in return for stablecoin. So before you even get this stablecoin, you're providing a collateral on top of what they've already got. So I would consider that to be like an over-collateralized stablecoin. I think using crypto as collateral on crypto to secure loans is kind of a shaky thing. That said, it wasn't the tokenomics that's taking AUSD down. It's the hack. Now, what I'm hearing is that this attack was the result of a bug. A hacker exploited a bug in the Bitcoin to the AUSD pool. So it looks like this guy funded an account on Binance, and that was how they funded their Ethereum account that they linked to Acala. Now, for their part, Acala says that they're on the case. They tweeted, quote, "We have noticed a configuration issue of the Horizon protocol, which affects AUSD. We are passing an urgent vote to pause operations on Acala while we investigate and mitigate the issue. We will report back as we return to normal network operation." About 12 hours later, and they believe that they have identified the culprit. They tweeted, quote, "We have identified the issue as a misconfiguration of the IBTC to AUSD liquidity pool, which went live earlier today, that resulted in error mints of a significant amount of AUSD." And then they go on to talk about how the misconfiguration has been fixed. They said, quote, "Wallet addresses that received erroneously minted AUSD," I like how they put that, erroneously minted AUSD have been identified with on-chain activity tracing in respect of these addresses underway. Now, AUSD dipped quite sharply at first, like I said. I just took a look at it now, sitting around 85 cents or so each, which isn't exactly nothing, but it's a long way from the $1 it's supposed to represent. It's not a good look. Now, if AUSD is able to regain and maintain its peg, because sometimes a stable will regain their peg only to lose it like 3 days later. So if AUSD is able to maintain their peg, it may be because they reacted so quickly. They put the network into maintenance mode. That stopped transfers off-chain. And then they can pass a governance vote to revert the state of the network. Now, right now, the drained money is sitting in an identified wallet. It currently holds more than 1 billion AUSD. The attacker did swap a tiny fraction of that money for some other tokens. Acala's native token, ACA, and then 4 others, which leaves a 1.7 billion AUSD in that account. Now, right now, there is no word yet on what the Acala community will do with this exploit. At present, the Acala team has suspended the accounts from transferring any of those funds. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. Take care of yourselves, but take care of each other too. We'll see you tomorrow night.